Hi, and thank you for joining me again. This is Chris with iGoldAdvisor.com. We're bringing to you our midweek precious metals update, and we have a lot of important information this week because it looks like there's a breakout in progress in gold. So we want to give you our targets now that this is developing. There's a strong chance that the bottom has been put into place. Let's get right to it. On the gold side, we have our daily chart here showing a nice strong close up almost $20 from yesterday and breaking above the 1155 region, which was holding our action over the last several weeks. How does this look over the last few months? We've been bringing to you this triangular consolidation that we've been saying has been happening here since the summer. And you can see those hits on this downtrend line coming here in August, again in September, and finally now in October, breaking out of that downtrend line. So there's a reason why we watch these patterns, and that's because when they resolve, they tend to move quickly in the direction that they resolve in. So looking at this now on the 1 year chart, this is some important information here on this chart. Here's that downtrend line, and we've been looking at that one. And you'll notice I have changed the color of that line to turquoise. We still want to pay attention to it, but it's now a broken trend line, and that's what the turquoise color is showing here. So we're still going to be paying attention to that because sometimes when we break out from these consolidations, we will come back down and test that trend line from the opposite side. That doesn't always happen, but we want to stay aware of that as a potential. Now here we have the breakout. Look at this, a nice consolidation over the last couple months, and then this breakout here. And you can see once the breakout has really occurred, this is moving, and we now give our target for the breakout right up here, coming in at the more long-term downtrend lines. So our target, now that this is broken out, has changed. Previously we had a head and shoulders pattern that looked to be in play, and we always said there's the possibility that this pattern does not get met, and indeed that is what's happening right now. By breaking above this 1175 level here from the August high, this pattern is now invalidated. So this is how technical analysis works. We lay out a series of possibilities. We're never saying we have the complete crystal ball, but what it is we're laying out the series of possibilities, and we are gauging the market as it develops, and we are bringing you the highest likelihood possibilities as they develop. So now that this consolidation here has resolved to the upside, we have a strong indication that we're going to test this more longer term downtrend line here shown in magenta that comes to around 1230 to 1240. So we are looking for a strong move coming up here over the next let's say 2 weeks. This may have a little bit more back and forth action before we get to that target, and we'll be bringing that to you. Backing that out now, why is this so important? This is the 7-year chart again, and you can see we've changed this downtrend line here to turquoise. This has been broken, and that brings into play that line that we were showing from before, which as we zoom out, we change the magnification. So this becomes our primary downtrend that's going on right now. And again, that level coming here right around 1230 to 1245. So that becomes our target here. And for those of us who are new, I really want to put this in perspective. I'm going to bring up the long-term chart again for gold, which goes back 35 years. I want to bring this one up because there's new people joining every week, and it's my intention to really put these markets into perspective, because there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of people out there who make really exaggerated calls in one direction or another. So for people who are just joining, here's that long-term chart. Now this is updated as of today and includes the breakout of the short-term downtrend. So you can see here again we are coming down to this area here where this long-term uptrend line comes into play. And if this turns out to be the bottom, this is a very bullish signal for a long-term pattern. The long-term pattern being the multi-decade consolidation followed by the breakout and coming back down to the vicinity of that breakout. Now if we stay above this breakout here, it's a very bullish signal. Like I said, that means we're not even actually really coming back to test it. We're just coming into the vicinity of it. And typically when we have these multi-decade consolidations and a breakout and a retest, the next move over the course of the next several years tends to be a multiple of this level. Not just a one-time multiple, but a several-fold multiple. So that's why we're paying so much attention to this bottoming process here, and we are always reminding people at least once a week of the potential for patterns that are playing out in this kind of way on the long-term charts. It's so we don't get too caught up in the day-to-day action, even though the day-to-day action is fun to watch on days where it's moving higher. So let's move over to the silver side, looking at the multi-day action here. You had a nice close on silver, finally closing above that $16 level, which has held it back for the last couple of weeks. Now we want to put that in perspective again. I'm going to go right to the 1-year chart. And it's a little bit different than gold. And pay attention to the intricacies here of the silver market as compared to gold. You basically have silver that is bumping up against this downtrend here, whereas I just showed gold having broken out of its downtrend. Now the difference might not be apparent on this chart, which is why I want to back it out one level. There's our key. Sorry about that. I should have brought that up a second ago. Similar coloring here, just on the silver chart. So why is this so important? Because when we're backed out to the 5-year level, you have silver that's hitting this downtrend line right here. Now this is the 2-year, this is the primary downtrend line that we're in. So even though when we're comparing it to gold, we're saying, yes, silver hasn't broken out of this downtrend line, remember the downtrend that we're talking about here is this final 2-year downtrend after we've broken out of these more steep downtrend lines. So we're looking at a bottoming process right here that is getting close to breaking out of this primary downtrend line, whereas gold still has a little ways to go. Actually, it needs to get up to that the 1245 area on gold to break the equivalent downtrend here to the silver market. So to back that out one more level, that's the point that we're at now, and we're talking about bumping up against this long-term uptrend line going back over the last 10 years. And of course, to put the silver market in perspective, there's that long-term uptrend line. Here's the hits on that uptrend line, and there we are right now. This is going back, this is the 35-year chart, and we have the peak that we've hit a number of times, once in 1980, once in 2011, 31 years later, hitting that same peak. Now, the thesis that we are standing by is that this bottom is so significant because the next move for silver is to retest this $50 level over the next few years. And when it breaks through that level, this is going to become a new floor. $50 will become the new floor, and we will then achieve a multiple of this $50 level. That's in the future. We're not anywhere near that at this point. We're still waiting for this downtrend, the primary downtrend, to break. But we're just giving you a perspective here, what we expect over the course of the next several years. So our summary for today Thanks again for joining me. We have gold breaking that year-long downtrend line, a significant break, now getting ready to target the 1230 to 1245 level. We expect that over the next 1 to 2 weeks, potentially even sooner if this market really has some legs to run right now. And we have silver bumping against that 2-year downtrend. So for those who are invested primarily in silver, don't worry, these markets sometimes move at different levels. Sometimes gold will move quicker, sometimes silver will move quicker. The two are linked at the hip, so to speak, and they cannot diverge for too long. But sometimes those divergences do last for a period of time. So we have silver bumping against that 2-year downtrend that will mark a major breakout when it does break that downtrend, potentially here over the next several days. Again, these bottoms being historically significant from the standpoint of monetary assets that are gaining a much more significant worldwide recognition for their store of value. And we have these downtrends that have been coming into play, and we're marking the bottoms of these downtrends. And potentially these downtrends may be the last time that these metals are available at anywhere near these prices. So that about does it for today. Thanks for joining me again. This has been Chris Aaron. Please subscribe if you enjoy these videos and share them with anyone who may also find them of value. I did just want to remind people that I have some written analysis up on the Gold Eagle website. That is there for you. It just puts these things in a slightly different perspective than the video format. And thanks again for joining me. The next update will be this weekend, and we'll be watching for that breakout in silver. Have a nice rest of the week, everyone.